Goedemorgen allemaal.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Fire Safety and Science Congress this morning. Understanding fire is our topic. Today we're going to talk about that, relating it to suppression.
People in the audience, there is translation for you, simultaneous translation. So I hope you all have a headset. I will be speaking in Dutch, as the majority of the people are Dutch speaking. In any case, after the presentation, there will always be a few minutes to ask questions. Of course, you are free to ask your questions in English if you want.
Today, we're going to be recorded on camera, so I hope you've all combed your hair, brushed your teeth, and look your best, because you'll be live online. And on Twitter, I already saw quite a few people viewing us from other sites. This is what we looked like yesterday.
Heeft u ook gezien, zo gaat het applaudisseren.
Well, you see how nicely they applauded. Now you know the drill. I'm Arnoud Breunissen. I'm going to be your chairman for the day, and I work mainly on prevention. I took my degree in that and progressed there. That was about fire resistance of concrete in steel bearing structures, and I'm delighted to be your chairman for the day. We're going to talk about fire suppression today. Those are two worlds, both prevention and suppression need to be linked. And I'm delighted that this conference is making headway there. Yesterday, we saw a clear common denominator, lots about repression, but suppression surfaced consistently. That was good, and I hope to continue on the same note today. There is a risk if I'm standing here in front of you. I just wanted to warn you because it's happened once before. The first time I stood in front of this audience was an entirely different setting. I had just graduated. That was about 12 years ago. And I was an expert on concrete and fire, or so I thought. And I was addressing 70 technical investigators, telling them about the type of damage they might see in concrete depending on the course of the fire. It was a wonderful, inspiring gathering, linking theory from my end with practice and police investigation. Most people in the audience, that was all well and good. 3 days later, the car park of the car rental company Hertz suffered a big fire. At Schiphol, 90 cars were destroyed, and the concrete structure had succumbed. And so all of the scenes that I had presented, it was a living showcase that is unprecedented in history. So I'm here on stage again today. I hope that nothing like that will recur in the next few days. And I wasn't identified as a witness. Of course, I had nothing to do with it. It was happenstance. Back to today's topic, fire safety, science, and suppression. Does that combination really exist? Was what entered my mind when I saw the title. It's quite provocative and will keep people on their toes. Yesterday we were talking about fire safety, science, and prevention, and that sounds logical because science, analyzing, thinking, calculating, testing, assessing measures, checking risks. Science sounds to me like something that takes time. And you can do that in the run-up when you're working on prevention. But when you're busy suppressing a fire, you don't have time for all that science. You get to the disaster scene and you have to get straight to work. So you can assess the situation, and then you have to act and decide quickly. You have to think on your feet. And that helps you prevent things from getting out of control. Okay, how can repression and science meet? we saw yesterday, they're a perfectly good combination. I think it would be interesting to elaborate on that today. Because repression is very dynamic. Of course, not the moment the fire department arrives at a disaster scene, but generally. Here, for example, at the Fire Academy and in the different safety regions, they're doing a lot to explore new terrain. As, for example, in the fire quadrant we saw yesterday, innovative extinguishing devices, and so on and so forth. So I think there are many developments in progress to suppress fires. What fascinates me, as was mentioned yesterday, is in what measure are we talking about progress that's experience-based, and how much of the progress is based on research and science. That's what our speakers will talk about today. I'm delighted that the organization has gathered so many interesting presentations. We're featuring a lot of fascinating speakers. This is your program for this morning. First, we'll hear from Roy Weghorst and Mastin Bullock. They'll be talking about fire investigations in practice and what happens with material. And you're in luck, because after the first presentation, we'll already break for coffee. And that coffee break will be in the corridors surrounding this auditorium. You'll find it easily. After the coffee break, we have two presentations, one by Stefan Svensson from Sweden and the other by Fred Hart, who will be speaking alone, unlike you see on the sheet here. And then it's lunchtime, and that will be upstairs. But I'll remind you about that. I have some general remarks that I'd like to ask you. Of course, I'm sure you sensed it. Please switch off your mobile phones. They'll also interfere with our equipment, because today we're at a state-of-the-art technology Congress. We're present not only here, but we're live online too, and there's simultaneous interpretation. So we've got quite a bit of equipment running here. And yesterday's scenes, some of them have already been posted on YouTube. You might not want to review them during the presentation now, but during the break or tomorrow, feel free. And that will also be on the IFV website at the info point. In the event of a disaster, please see the emergency exits. They're marked with green signs, and follow the instructions of the Occupational Assistance Service. And if you want to tweet about what you're experiencing, seeing, and learning, feel free. We've got a hashtag set up for that. And please do it during the breaks in the hallway around this auditorium. Thank you very much. And the hashtag is FSS-Congress 2014. Next, René Hagen's book, which was published a year ago in Dutch, but now it's available in English translation as well. If you want either edition and would like to order it, please leave your business card at the stand, and we'll send it to you for a token fee, which is much more affordable than if you have to print it out yourself. So it's a very good idea.